All right, another view on my 350Z. So, previous owner installed a Kenwood head unit, and it does all the modern stuff. It's a little bit older, from 2015, but it has navigation, Bluetooth, and all that stuff. So, I familiarized myself with this head unit, trying to get it. Got a couple things fixed up. Main problem I had was it was too bright, the screen, and even me searching up the model number on Google wasn't completely accurate. It is true, of course, that you can edit the screen brightness, contrast, and stuff, but it's not intuitive because if you go to settings, you don't see it there, even though you'd think there'd be a shortcut, right? So what you actually have to do is you actually have to click down and you get a different screen that allows you to turn the display off while you're driving at a buttons push 1, 2, very nice, and screen adjustment screen. That's where you start to see brightness, contrast, brightness, big one, and then like dimmer and stuff like that to synchronize to have it dim, like let's say you're on the navigation screen and then you go to the radio screen or something like that, right? So that's nice that we have all that stuff. Let's go to, okay, so we have a lot of stuff that I don't use. I'm not interested in the Apple support. Does have that. Funny enough, it has the exact same things. My old Z up here. You have a cable to connect your iPod, I guess, or whatever. HD radio support, even though it doesn't seem to work. Apps, I think you need to use the app on your phone to make these apps work, so it's not as ideal as it would seem. It's not like you could just use an app here, so that's a little bit of the archaic peeking through. But the good news is that the Bluetooth connection was strong. You can just tap here and then go to Bluetooth. That brings that up. And then the other thing, you have quick access to do your equalizer, which is great. It's per source, and you can sync them. And then you can just touch on here, which is kind of fun, but also kind of annoying. And then you can use the arrow keys here. So overall, it's a premium unit, and it's nice to have something that does everything. I was right on the edge, right on the border of getting a Android touchscreen head unit. I did do the calibration on the touchscreen. That's another thing that hopefully made it a little bit more sensitive and accurate on where you're touching on the screen. So once the things were addressed, the head unit is it's more than fine. It's nice. It's just a luxury to have something else, something different, something enhanced. So that's basically that. The audio on the Bluetooth plays well, quality-wise. The volume seems nice. The ability for it to be amplified through the radio. And then, I should say head unit, right? And then, not only is it loud, but it's clear, if that makes sense. Some Bluetooth connections, for whatever reason, are not loud enough, or the audio quality is not acceptable. And the main thing is I can play any kind of audio that I want through my Android phone device. I just need this to grab the signal, play on the speakers, and have good quality, good experience. So that's cool. That's going to save me some money. It happens to be in pretty nice condition. It just looks like it doesn't need to be replaced. It doesn't look scratched up or anything. The screen is nice and everything. So it's just too many good things. It's weird. It's a weird thing because you get excited about upgrading your car, modifying it, improving it. Now just jumping into the Z stuff. 350Z is kind of cool and kind of exciting. So one of the new things now, I've updated myself. They actually have here from top to bottom, right? You have a huge screen. They have like a tablet thing that drops in, or you get this huge screen, so you swap this piece out. That's pretty exciting. Of course, you have the automatic opening stock. You know, up here there's a screen and navigation, exclusively navigation. It's rare to see, but it's there. But then you have a double DIN. So with a double DIN, you have all kinds of flexibility. So if you don't want to mod this or change this out with a double DIN, you can have something like this, touchscreen. My old one would actually fold down the face too. So you have the ability for it to be a transformer type. And so beyond having the flexibility to do any kind of double DIN head unit that you want, they have these new style that's not new anymore. They were hot on the market. You could see them, I think, on eBay and stuff, where it's like a connector, and the entire face can just disconnect or reconnect based on its little port connector thing, right? And then you can have, like, I guess some of them you can move or whatever, but you could have like a larger screen that goes out to the side, and like down here, you could like maximize this area. Let's say you have, I don't know, a 6-inch screen, and then you can turn it into a 7-inch screen or an 8-inch screen, right? Or a 9-inch screen, depending on how that real estate would be taken up. And then it can like slide up and down or left and right or whatever to make it work, so it doesn't bump into your leg, or it doesn't clears your air controls and, you know, whatever. I don't know if this is going to function or not, or if it's just removable and then you can use that normal and then you put it back on or whatever. But it's an interesting world from the old world that didn't have any of that possibility. So it's definitely a lot more flexibility, and that was also a temptation. Obviously, you're saying, well, I could have a big screen. I could have a big screen this way. I could have a big screen this way. So there's a temptation. But sports car, nice. Just having a clear, crisp, bright enough screen. I turned the brightness down already. It was maxed out. So this thing was blaring, and I didn't know the quick shortcut to hide the screen, to dim, that is to drop out the brightness, that's to turn off the screen temporarily while you're using it. So I was, when I first drove this car, I was really annoyed by the thing, and I'm like, I can't mess with that thing now. I'll be sitting there looking up PDF instruction manuals and fiddling around with that thing for 20 to 60 minutes. So that's another thing. That this car already had, saving money. It's more value in the car for an actual real world. You know, a lot of people talk about acquiring a car. They won't mention about the odds and ends. They won't really go over, you know, some people invest quite a lot in the sound systems. That could be anywhere up to $1,000. So, you know, when you have a cheap car that has premium things like this, you're starting to say, well, you know what? I'm getting more value because I would have spent money there for sure. I feel like every car, unless it's something that has a little premium something already there, you're not really going to swap it out. Like basically every car, you do the radio upgrade, whatever, path. So it's wisdom of car ownership. It's just the thing that like lets you get away with it, so to speak, is the fact that you pay for your car and you pay to maintain your car, and then disposable income allows you to do the updates and upgrades and mods at your own pace. All right, well, we're on the journey for the 2006 350Z. I believe this is a touring model. And you could see that the 2006 interior has the niceties, and that's basically since we're focusing here, I can see how beautiful these are, and it's different from the early version of the Z. So we have some differences in the interior, and that includes down here, heated seat stuff, which these seats don't have because they're changed, and then you have, this thing slides, which is cool. And one thing, since I'm here, that's different, the cup holder's gone. My old Z had this push thing, and I've seen some people say that there's kind of like a change drawer thing or something like that. I'm like, what's going on? My other Z here definitely had a cup holder. It would come out, and then the little thing opens up, and you put your cup in there, and now it's just completely gone. It's like, well, it's clean and nice, and nothing's gonna break. But what the heck happened there? And there's nothing on the other side either. So that one is a head scratcher. I don't know what's going on with that. Never really heard anybody talk about it. But one thing I did hear is I saw a guy opening that little tray thing that I just showed you in the middle of the dash here in the console, and he put his drink in there, and it was spilling all over the place. And I said, my God, what are you doing? What is this? That's not okay. Is it though? No. Yeah. No. Yeah. It has some grooves in there. Are you supposed to have an attachment or something? I don't know what's going on with that, but it does have some grooves, so it appears like a cup holder, but I don't think that was a cup. I never thought that was going to be a cup holder, and it sure doesn't seem to work well as a cup holder. That's not going to lock there, so I don't know, but I'm about to Google if there's some kind of attachment piece, 350Z, cup holder, whatever, add-on extension, interior piece. If there's something for that, I don't recall ever seeing that. I don't recall, but there might be something. But anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, comment. Let me know what kind of sound setup that you think is justified in a car. The one thing that I can comment on Nissan 350Z is that I thought that the speakers held up over the years and that they sounded decent, pretty good. They resist getting damaged, and maybe because they're very large, that helps them. But I thought that it's a decent sound system. Whereas cheaper cars, they have like paper cones and then they break. That's the main thing. They get old, they deteriorate, and they break, and you have to replace them anyway. So you might as well do an upgrade. And the whole audio world is just very complicated, as you know. All right. Catch you on the next video.